this is the DJI, ooh, that's cold, that's metal, DJI Action 2. I've been using this camera a lot just to shoot stuff around, and I was using the Rode C mic, but this is so large, the cage, that I had to use the extender, and I think two things are happening. It gets hot, and I was shooting at 60K, 4K 60 frames. This thing gets hot and it overheats even in an AC cooled room. You can turn that off. You can turn the threshold for heat, but I'm always afraid it's just going to corrupt the card or something like that. And what was the point of shooting if it doesn't show up, right? Anyway, this it works pretty well, so I dropped it down to 30 frames, and I think that, I don't know if it fixed it or not, but I know that when it get too hot, it would start to, the audio would just crap out. It would just get fuzzy, and it would be just not unusable, because it would just be, it would be either that or like a digitally sound that you can't understand what I'm saying, so what was the point of that? So, I shot something Tuesday on this, a longer video, and I just didn't use it. I didn't use a mic. It's okay. I found that if you're shooting, like, here's the lens, if you're standing like this over something, that's probably the best audio, which is weird. Because I've done it without it's not the small rig case either. That's just the way the thing is. If you're like this, there's a mic right here, and there's a mic back here. This mic works better for whatever reason. Anyway, so there are other options that you can do. So I'm gonna try them out. This one seems to be, on paper, seems pretty good. I like the idea behind it. Just a sticker, because that's what you want. Documentation for it, and one of these. Remember, kids, these are silica gel. They're delicious, and they're meant for you to eat, so you have to eat them. It's rude if you don't eat them, really. So this, I have something similar to this for this camera, this A7 III, but it's just a typical headphone jack, whereas this is USB-C. I had to do my makeup vlogger hand. This, and it also comes with a little windscreen. I suppose you could put a bigger dead cat on it if you wanted to, but oh, this thing's tight. It's not going to fit on it without me taking 20 minutes to put it on. So the nice thing about this, it fits directly on without having an extender or anything, and it moves. So in theory, hopefully, let me turn this on. In theory, what'll happen, yeah, okay, for a second the mic didn't show up, but it was just booting. I'm filming something and I have something over, I could use this mic to do this, and then when I have the camera in front of me, the mic will be like this. So, let's move over to this. So this is the Saramonic. Is it Saramonic? Yeah, Saramonic. Saramonic. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. It doesn't matter. This is USB-C mic. I like the idea that it will be movable, and hopefully it'll be clear, and most importantly, I hope it doesn't crap out in the middle of shooting something and I don't know about it until the next day when I'm going to edit it and blah blah blah. So this is option one. I hope it works, because this seems like a really great option because it works with everything, and it's more compact than even the Rode C. So it's a lot smaller. You can stick this in my bag and also still have my big light on it. So let's move on to the next one. Hopefully this is good. So that one, That one seems pretty nice. If nothing else, I like the fact that it works with the small rig. You see that? Boom. It fits in there, and I still have all the protection of this. I did buy the DJI refresh thing because it was like 30 bucks for it. So if something goes really haywire with this, I break it or want to crack the screen or something like that, I can return it and get a new one for like 30 bucks or something. Anyway, the next option, let's do this one. I do prefer a wired mic or a mic like this that's directly on. Wireless is really great, but then you have to worry about charging it and this and that, which is fine in some cases, but not all cases. So this thing is the purple Panda, and if nothing else, the name is good. It smells really bad. It smells kind of like dirt and farts. Return compatibility, blah blah blah. The nice thing about this thing is they made it mostly compatible with all USB-C mics that are meant for like portable. Like this is an iPhone. It has the Lightning. They haven't put a USB-C on it yet. Hopefully they will one day. But supposedly it works with all USB-C mics. So documentation, and boy, it does not smell good at all. It does smell like dirt. Like after a rain and the dirt is... Yeah, it doesn't matter. Hopefully the smell will go away though. So this is a lavalier mic. Oh, it has an adapter too. Oh, I think that's the adapter to make it work. Little dead cat. Actually, this is a nicer dead cat. This thing is really nice, but I'm gonna have to like roll it on. Anyway, so this is a lavalier, just a typical lavalier. This has its input here, and I'm guessing this little USB, because it has several different inputs on it. So let's go ahead and do that. Thought it only came with this. I didn't need to have the other one. Anyway, I didn't research it enough. Now, this, I'll just put it right here. I like having a wired one simply because I'm usually close to the thing anyway, and having it like this, I don't have to worry about charging this. I only have to charge one thing. Well, I mean, you have to charge the light too, but only if I'll go without the light if I have to, but I only have to charge one thing instead of having to charge a few, which we'll see that in a minute. But it's not a bad thing. It's just if you're out and about and then you forget to charge it, or you burn all the battery in like the first 20 minutes or something like that, then you're screwed. So the mic is input, and let's switch to this. It showed up, which is good, because you probably can't see it, but there's a little thing right here. That's the mic icon. It shows up when you plug in a mic. This is Purple Panda. It smells like dirt. Hopefully this dead cat will be nice. It comes with a little foam thing like the last one did, but the dead cat seems to work really well, especially in a windy environment. Like I'll take him fishing and it's always windy fishing. That's just the way it is. And I've used dead cats and they worked really well. So hopefully this will work. I saw this on another guy's YouTube video. That's why I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. It's not too terrible. This won't work on this one. I was fiddling around with, but it's wired, so I don't have to, and it's got a decent length cable too. I don't have it unwound. It's got a little foam on it, but hopefully it sounds good, and this might be a good one for like if I'm outside grilling or something, because there's a bunch of noise just because it's outside. ACs, birds, you name it. So let's see how this one looks. Let's see how this one sounds. I like the fact that it has a long cable with it, so I can just move a decent, oh, I'm stepping on my guitar cable. I can move a decent amount away and still use it, and ultimately I'll be cooking or something like that, and I'll be outside, and I can just hook it onto the metal case here. Oh, I can do this. this and use it like that temporarily, and then when I'm doing something, and I can do this, I can flip it back. So, and again, it's wired. It's going to be taking energy from the camera, but there's no such thing as a perfect solution. I mean, that's all I can say, really. So, that being said, let's move on to the third option. Let me unplug this. Yeah, okay. I think this might be my go-to for like just doing stuff outside. So that has a little adapter on it. This is another adapter that does basically the same thing, I hope. Let's see. Gotta make sure all my stuff, speaking of battery life, make sure everything still has battery on it. The one thing I didn't do, and I should have, but let's do this one. I have these, and this works really well. This is the Rode wireless mic. This is Gen 1. There's a Gen 2 that has two inputs, which is nice. But let's do it with this. This is the Rode. This is also a really nice mic, and it has a big old dead cat on it. I'm pretty sure I've used this one out and like fishing before, but I've used a big old dead cat like this, like I was saying earlier, and it works. You still have a slight, like a windy noise, but the audio is usable and blah blah blah. So let's go ahead and I'll plug this in. It shows up. Hey, haha. Let's move over. Let's start this one. So all of this is a little cable. So this is an adapter. This is USB-C to mic input. It's a 3.5 millimeter TRS to USB-C adapter, and I was pointing it this way. I'm pointing it at my face now. That's where my mouth is. That's where I keep my mouth lately. So this, I think, might be a really good option just overall, especially if I'm doing stuff. If I'm like cooking where I'm having to use my hands a lot, and I don't want to have to keep washing my hands because I just touched the camera, and I don't want to, who knows what, and you know how that goes. I think this one might be a good option because it's a really nice directional mic, and then I have a big old fat dead cat on it, so that way the audio won't be blown out by wind or what have you. So hopefully this one sounds pretty good too. So I now have options. Hopefully, I think all three are good in their own ways, and I think there are practical applications for them in some way, shape, or form. I bought this a while back, and I can this has a little screw on the bottom, so I can attach it to this thing, because this is that, right? And this I can just clamp onto anything, like I just did with my desk here, and I have a vlogging setup and I'm hands-free. Then if I put it on this, I can put the light and have that. There's a bunch of different options. What I'm really hoping for is that it doesn't screw up my audio again. There's nothing's more frustrating than spending all this time and then you put it into your computer and it's like, oh. And it was like stuff that you can't replicate. I was making bread. It's like, what am I gonna do? Like, make a whole new bread just for like that last 15 minutes of the video or something? It's frustrating. There's ways to get around it, but it's better to just have it work the first time.